Hi, it's Trista. I'm back again with another requested reading. The question tonight is using a pendulum a legitimate way to get answers for our spiritual questions? So, in case you're not familiar with pendulums, this is an example of one. This one's tiger's eye, and it's on a chain, and there's usually um, little holding ring. I don't know what this is called, but just an example for people who say, "Oh, what's a pendulum?" And they come with different crystals, stones. Um, People sometimes use them to get information, and the pendulum, how they work is the pendulum is supposed to um, kind of either go one way or go the other way or move in a certain direction if the answers are yes and no. Um, so some people use them. I'm not real familiar with them. I've tried them. I've have a hard time reading the answer. Um, so I'm not an expert in that. So, but I know someone who has been trying to use them. So, and they have kind of a more of a pretty serious Christian background. So I'm guessing that his question is regarding um, is it okay to use uh, instruments like that to get information? So that was the question. Um, this is what they said. You can use the pendulum as a guide if you are comfortable with it and if it is cleared and attuned to your energy. So that's important. When you first get them, you're supposed to clear them because crystals and stones can pick up energies and they could be other people's energies. So you want them attuned to your particular energy. Um, and as they go on to say here, I'm not going to teach you how to use a pendulum because I'm certainly not, I'm not an expert and I don't use them very rarely. Um, so they say on here there are videos online that instruct on how to use and how to clear them. So there's people out there that use them, and people have used them for probably thousands of years. They've been around a long time. So for people who have that interest, and have that ability, because I think it is a gift if you know how to use certain tools like that. Same with like tarot cards or reading tea leaves or whatever it might be. Those are ones that just kind of pop into my head, but um, they've been around a long time and people do use them. Um, so they're encouraging you. The guys are encouraging you if you're interested in that. You can go online and there's you know videos practically on any topic, how to do any topic online. So watch a couple of videos, see, first of all, you want to clear them, cleanse them. And there should be videos online for that. And then how to use them. So, and there's probably people who do readings. That would be interesting to look up. People who do readings have their own YouTube channels that usually actually use them. Um, so, anyway, um, so you have to, the energy of the pendulum corresponds with its user. So you want the energy to attune to you. So its answers are your answers, not the previous person who handled it, not their information. So they are not evil when used correctly. Just like other tools that people can use. So it's just a tool. It's an energy tool. So there's a lot of people out there who aren't familiar with them or have a certain belief systems that would say, oh, that's evil. You shouldn't use stuff like that. But they're saying it's okay. It's up to each individual person. Um, and like they said, they need to be cleared and then they need to be tuned to your energy. And then you need to work with them to learn how to use them. So um, they say it's not evil when used correctly, just like any other tool that people can use. You just need to know how to use it and how to ask the appropriate questions. So when you're asking it questions, that too is going to affect the answers. And the appropriate questions are they kind of go into it a little bit, but like they say, intrusive questions asking about other people are not ethically appropriate. So you shouldn't be trying to get information on what your ex is doing, um, or anything that doesn't pertain to you and your immediate children, because you can ask about your children once they get older, above 18. Then that's a whole another ethical issue. But when they're under your care, you can ask about them, meaning they're minors. um, so they say you just need to know how to use it and how to ask appropriate questions. Be aware that timing can also play into the answers. So if you say, am I going to win the lottery this week? And they say no. And then maybe you win it 10 years down the road. Or am I going to get fired from my job? And you're thinking your current job. And they say no. And then maybe, 15 years later, something happens at work and you get fired. So you have to kind of ask the right question. So, and I kind of misphrased that. So what you want to do is, so if you're going to say, am I going to get fired from my job? And it says yes, but then you don't get fired. But then 10 years later, you get fired from a job. So it has, the answer might have something to do with timing. Did you say, am I going to get fired from my job, my current job this month? Well, maybe the answer is no. Or am I going to ever be fired from a job in my lifetime? Well, maybe the answer is yes. So if you leave it open and vague, then I think sometimes the answers may not come back the way you expect them, or may not seem accurate. So sometimes you have to be specific to what you're asking. Timing may play into the way that the pendulum responds. So it is a tool just like others. You need to practice it. You need to learn how to read the energy. So, they're all a little bit different. I think some of them will go back and forth, and some go around, some go reverse when you're working with them due to the energy. So I think you have to kind of get used to the one you are using, or just the way you are able to use them. They said be aware of the way you word the question, because that may influence the answer. We just talked about that. There is a lot of belief systems and negative responses from people out there in the general public when it comes to people using pendulums. But they said just like anything else, you need to use them appropriately and use them for the highest good of yourself. Don't be trying to get information on people shouldn't be getting information on, or situations you shouldn't be involved in. That sort of thing is considered inappropriate. So they say if you if you work with them, you'll become more comfortable with them, and you'll be able to read the subtle differences easier. They said they are okay to use. Not everybody likes them, and not everyone has the talent to use them or read them. So that was kind of a brief summary on the question of, is using a pendulum a legitimate way to get answers to our spiritual questions? And that's for people who use that tool. They're open to it. They don't have negative feelings towards it, because your energy around it, I think, is going to influence how it moves, because it's reading. I think how it works is it's partially reading your energy. So if you have any more questions about that, you can put them in the chat, in the comments. I may not be able to answer them, but I may be able to do a follow-up reading on them. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share if there's people that are interested in it. Like I said, I have a couple of pendulums. I don't usually use them that much because I feel like I'm not real confident in how to use them. I think is part of it. So I think you have to get comfortable with it and become more confident in reading it. Um, and sometimes you just have to play around with them just to kind of see how they move. If they move for you, some people, they will move all over. If you sit and watch someone who's using them, and some of them are very subtle. Um, so I guess that's it. I really, if it's something that you feel drawn towards, you can check it out. If not, no big deal. Just don't necessarily have a negative judgment towards other people that might use them. So there's just a tool. And anything can be used, with the light or with the dark, depending on how you use it. So I guess that's my answer. So we'll see you later. Have a good night. And I have a couple more readings that are coming up tonight. So different topics. All right. Thank you. Good night.